We're back.
Yay.
It's been a little bit of a break in our time with all of you, but we're happy to be back. So we are Women of Worth. I am Kelly Bowl.
I'm Michelle LaChapelle.
And we're excited to be back. So we did have to take some time off. Our last show was November 25th, 24th.
24th, I think, yeah.
And that was right before the holidays. So we hope that everybody was able to enjoy some time. I know that this year was very different from previous years, and hopefully going forward, things will be better and we'll be on the upswing. I'm already feeling it. I'm feeling it with even the temperatures today. It's just beautiful out
today.
So I'm feeling like, yes, better days are coming, and we are hopeful that this pandemic that has been hanging over us for over a year now is about to maybe, take a little hiatus as well. So
we want to take a deep breath. Really do.
We do.
That was a long hiatus. I mean, that was from November 24th. Today is March 9th that we're taping, and that was too long.
It was too long.
Really, wanting to do something more positive. There was just a lot of tough times. I will say, Christmas was different this year, but we made the best of it, and I think that most everybody tried to do that.
Absolutely.
I think it was,
Definitely.
I think people got creative, got outside their comfort zone a little bit, and we certainly did in my family. So, but it was all good. We lost my stepdad, though, during the time period that we were away, so a difficult time for us, but very blessed that we were able to be with him when he passed, so that was it was a blessing.
Absolutely. So, and we had also shared, the day that you had shared about being a caregiver and caring for Dennis, your stepdad, I had also shared that my husband's family, had also had a caregiving role with my husband's grandfather, and he has since passed. So Michelle and I have, dealing with our own personal stuff as well. So that was probably a part of the reason why we took a little hiatus, because we were dealing with that and with and just taking care of our families and each other, and trying to, take a little time out. And then now here we are, and we're happy to be back. And but yesterday was a pretty significant day, and obviously for us, doing a show about women for women. I mean it's for everybody, but we do focus on women. And so yesterday was International Women's Day. So Michelle probably has some things written down, because she does a lot of research, and I just go along for the ride.
Well, it was so appropriate that it fell on yesterday, and today we are now filming for the first time since November. So I thought it was so exciting. I went on International Women's Day. They have a website, so if you ever want to go and just take a look, what a fantastic website they have. Really helping women to really feel their power, and to they have challenges every year. So the 2021 challenge this year it's a campaign. Sorry, shouldn't use challenge, because their campaign is Choose to Challenge. That's their campaign for 2021. And I thought, well, what an appropriate challenge, I think, for right now. It's really, for us, we've been challenged in what we're doing. For some reason, we got it in our brains that we were going to do a show for women, about women, and it's been quite a challenge. And I think it's really lifted us up. I think it's helped us to meet so many wonderful women in our community. So we're rising to the challenge. And one of their quotes on their website, that's why I write things down, because I can never remember anything. I have this, forgetful brain. But the quote was, and it goes along with their Choose to Challenge campaign, "A challenged world is an alert world, and from challenge comes change." So just really want to say to all the women out there that are watching, what are you going to challenge yourself to do this year? Are you going to get out of that job that's just in a toxic situation? Is it a relationship that you want to foster, that you want to grow? Is it just something positive in your life that you want to try? Do you want to try to start a cable show like Kelly and I? It's easy to do, and if you have any talents to display, then this is the best form to do it. So those were a couple things that I wanted to
And just to
highlight.
mention about the cable show, because we are, right now, I think we are the only women that are doing a show
are.
at this present time. I know the producers could probably correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I think we are, so.
I think we are the only women's show on the station right now. I do believe we are. And, one day I was just looking, I was watching one of the cable show channels where they had the feed going through, and it said, you too can start your own show, and it's free, it's easy, and come on down and do it. And I said, okay, I'll do it. I don't know why. But anyway, so anybody can do it. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so anyway, International Women's Day, fantastic day. And I just wanted to say, I have a 15-year-old niece, my Nina, and she sent all of the women in her life a beautiful text yesterday in honor of International Women's Day. And I thought that was so awesome because she's 15, and I just thought, they're just, they're getting that message young. They're getting it younger and younger, and I think it's just, there's so much hope for the future, for the generations to come. So pretty excited about that.
She's got some pretty strong role models in her family, so she's
does.
pretty lucky.
She does.
Yeah.
She does, and and we're going in future shows. We're going to show a little bit of favoritism in my family because we're going to have a couple of family members on the show.
I don't know if we want any of mine. No, I'm kidding. I'm certainly kidding, and we will ask some of my family members as well if they'll come on.
But hopefully one of our next shows is going to be my mom, who is an author, and she's written 9 books, and children's books and adult books, and she's an amazing woman. So just to give her a little shout out. It's going to be a good show. Yeah, to have some authors on the show. So yeah.
Well, I'm excited about today's show. So
I am too. Okay.
Go ahead. Tell me, Michelle. Tell me about today's show. Who do we have? Who's our special guest?
Our special guest today. I'm so happy because we wanted Donna on for a while. Actually, you were going to be on the show that got canceled because of COVID. Yeah, so you were going to be on that show. So our guest today is Donna Picard-Kennedy from Maison de Manger. So here she is. Oh, there you go. There you are.
Yay! I'm glad to be on with you now. You're cracking me up over there. I need to be quiet for a minute. Like, oh my gosh, lady, not fair.
And you wanted to say something, but
I just wanted to laugh. Like, oh my word.
You could have. You'd be like our laugh track.
Yeah.
In the background.
I've been asked to do that before, believe it or
Have
not.
you really?
Yeah, for a production company. They're like, we need you. We need your laugh. I'm like,
no way.
Forget it. Yeah,
Oh, how
forget about
fun.
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So.
Well, so happy that you could be here.
Yeah.
We were really in the middle of celebrating all of the businesses in town run by women. We had some really great guests from the different shops in town, and we started, we were going to have you on, and then canceled.
COVID.
And then COVID happened. But just so excited to have you on here because, Donna, you are a woman of many talents. And I'd love to hear all about them. Love to have our audience really hear about them too. So I'm just looking. Are you? Yeah, you're in the shot. Okay. I just want to make sure you're in the shot with us. Okay.
Yeah.
So Maison de Manger.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in love. Absolutely in love with the shop.
Me
I know
too.
Kelly is too. And so just take us back
Okay.
when you started. Why?
Yeah.
Why? How?
Okay.
Tell
So
us
it's a
the
little
story.
bittersweet, but I actually love to tell the story. I became a widow in 2009, and it kind of, my life, I felt like part of myself died. And so I was in this rut for a lot of years, and I was traveling with a friend to go to Pennsylvania. We stopped in New York, and we saw this French chef with the big hat on in the window spinning crepes. And I just stood there, and something about what he was doing just it just made me feel good inside. And so I came away from that thinking, I don't know if that's possible. But so I sat on it for a couple of years, and then had talked to the friend that I was with and said, you know what, I think I would like to do that. And, I tend to be impulsive. So sometimes my friends and family are like, whoa, just let her talk. She'll get over it, right? But I have 6 sons, and so I...
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's another story.
I mean,
that's a whole other story. That's another level. That's another level, right?
Yes.
So I sat with a couple of them and, kind of tossed the idea around that I wanted to open up a restaurant, and didn't really make clear to them what it was going to be, but they were on board. And really they said to me, look, Mom, you can do this, or you can wait till you're 80 and say, I wish that I did it. So, just give it a shot. And you know what? Some people fail, but you never know. You gotta take a leap. And so I did. Everything fell into place. I thought I would have to have co-signers for loans to get the business up. Didn't need any of that. It was like every door just opened beautifully. And then mostly 2 of my sons and myself did the entire interior of that place. All the physical labor. I was putting up, sheetrock and holding 2x4s and putting up the Mylar, and I love doing that. So it was a great time for me. But the name came from my late husband, who was French Canadian, and so I was still in the struggle, but I was coming up out of the grave, and so thought, okay, let's just give it a French name, do some things in the interior that remind people of Canada. And so it was kind of to honor him, So, and that's really what Maison's name is about. But it's been an incredible success. It's kind of a tough region. I want to say, a lot of people have said, why didn't you do this somewhere else, or And I'm like, what? This is my backyard. This is where I grew up.
Absolutely.
This is where I want people to enjoy their life. So that's kind of the background of it. But it's a great ongoing story, and just when I opened up, and just the excitement that it generated in the area, and people come from like Boston to come there. Things are really slow right now, and I was closed for 6 months, but it's been a fantastic ride, and I still go in there, and when I walk in the door, I'm like, I'm so happy to be here.
Right.
I love that place.
Well, I love walking in that place.
Yeah, I
it's
do
so
too.
warm and inviting.
Exactly.
It's the most warm and inviting place that you just can sit and have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea with even just a dessert.
Yeah.
Sit and read, go on your laptop. I mean, I just love that atmosphere that you've created.
Thank
you know, and I just have to ask you, did you ever make a crepe in your life?
No.
Okay.
No, so talk about a
See,
challenge.
This is what I wanted to ask you.
Yo, never.
That's awesome.
Never.
But were you a trained chef?
Never. No. Only in the kitchen of 6 boys and a husband.
Wow.
Because even the cakes that I'm seeing that you're posting,
That lemon cake, I was going to run right over one. I was like, sold.
I'll take the whole thing. That happened, actually. Someone bought the whole thing.
You're kidding.
No, and then
That
as soon as
doesn't
it
surprise
sold,
me.
someone was on the phone saying, I want the whole cake. And we're like, sorry, it's already been
gone.
sold.
Oh,
Yeah.
how funny is that?
Yeah.
But
So-
how wonderful.
Yeah.
but you're self-taught.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've done a lot of cooking leading up to this. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, never made a crepe. And it's, now I make it look easy to spin a crepe on those drums. They're 18 inches. We make the crepes around 16 inches in diameter, but it's very challenging when I was
Well, how
first.
did you learn how to make a crepe?
Just keep doing it.
Oh, really? That's how.
Really?
So did you do it before you started building the restaurant?
No.
You just said, I'm going to make crepes.
I did. I actually did. Well, that's why I'm
Oh,
saying sometimes
funny.
my family and friends are like, just let her talk. She'll get over it. But no, I guess I'm a real believer in if there's something that you really want, go after it. And you know what? How do you know if you're going to make it or not? You don't know.
That's true.
And if you fail, it's no big deal. You get up. It's a learning curve, right?
That's right.
Right.
You can't live in fear.
Wow, Donna. I mean, that's a leap, though.
Oh, it was a flying leap.
Really? Well, really. I mean, it's like me
I
wanting to
love
say, I'm gonna
do a show?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut an album. I'm gonna sing. Never sang before
please.
professionally in my life, although I'd like to.
We know that you sing in some places, but I don't know about public.
Well,
No.
I'm just
Come on, this
Kelly.
is pretty funny.
the worst co-host in the world. No, but I'm just saying, like, it's like that. Like, I don't
Yes.
professionally
No.
sing. Like, holy cow, if I
Well, force
decided.
yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. But
Right.
you never made a crepe before, and you
No.
decided to open a creperie.
Yes.
Is that what it's called, creperie?
Creperie,
I
yeah.
would call, yeah. Oh my goodness.
So my oldest
Wow.
son, when we went to the bank and stuff, he's with me. And then when everything was getting up and ready to open and stuff, he goes, "What are we doing anyway?" I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna make crepes." And he's like, "Really?" About a year into it, he said, "Mom, when you told me you were making crepes," he said, in my head, I went, "Oh my God."
No way.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And he goes, "I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want to discourage you." He goes, "Because I figured you'd figure it out." But yeah, he was worried about me.
And well, he should have been.
Yes,
But,
yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah.
but how many times do you go forward and do something, and then you look back and you're like, what
What was I
What was I
thinking?
thinking?
It's true.
But you
Either it's
really-
that or what stopped me? What stopped me all these
Yeah.
years?
Yeah.
And why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah.
Type of thing. But
Yeah.
with you, it was the right time
Yeah.
Yeah.
think that's
in
what
your
it is.
life, and
Yeah.
it just kind of, like you said, all fell into place.
It did too.
So
Yeah. It was fun.
I think it might have been your time just to do it. I
Yeah.
mean, I always believe in that. This is the time that
Yeah.
you're supposed to be
This
doing
is the season
something.
for you, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And you know what? And it's funny because I've been reading this book, and I just started reading it, and it's about it's not about being middle aged, but it's about women and coming into themselves.
Yeah. Sure.
At a particular age, and I think that for women, once you get up there, and you're getting there, Kelly.
I know.
Once you get there, it's like you. It's so nice.
I
to
just
her.
had a birthday,
She
Did you?
and it's the last year of my 40s.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Oh.
all of my friends are saying, enjoy my last year of my 40s.
Yeah, but you know what?
And then this one reminds me that I'm approaching middle age. So, it's
well,
all good.
but it's a
It
good
is.
thing.
It is a good
I
thing.
think it is
Yeah.
because you know what? You really don't. I really don't care very much what people are thinking or
Isn't that
saying.
the best part?
I really don't.
You want to be kind, right?
Yeah, I
but
do,
you're
yeah.
you're not pushed around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just having that
Yeah.
conversation with my husband. I think it was yesterday how I got to this point in my life and because people can be unkind, systematically unkind. If they don't like you, they'll just keep letting you have it. And there was this woman in my life that did that, and I reached a point in my life where I just felt like I was going to open up a can of whoop on her, and I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Be kind,
Yep.
be a lady, But you get to the point where you're like, I don't care what you think anymore. And but you care, but you're not pushed
Right.
around by
Right.
their opinion anymore.
And
So,
and I think that the challenges that we put in front of ourselves are from our experience that we've had through our whole life.
Yeah.
And now, like, we're applying it.
yeah.
Now we're saying,
Sure.
again, starting the show, I just was like, I think that'd be kind of a neat thing to try to do.
Yeah,
And,
right.
and you wanted to make crepes.
She's like, you're a little crazy, but
Wanted to
it's
make
working.
crepes.
It's working for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
I mean, my favorite is your chicken salad crepe is the best. I
Yeah.
love that. I
Between
get it
that
every
and the
time.
chicken pot pie,
The
those are
chicken
the
pot pie,
most
yeah.
popular.
Yeah, and the shepherd's pie crepe, that one's...
We're not doing that right now. Yeah.
When we first started going
Yep.
there, that was
Yeah.
delicious too. Though.
Hopefully we'll bring that back.
Yeah, yeah.
The menu's curated
It's
very
evolving.
specifically. Yeah. Well, I trimmed it way back
Mm-hmm.
because when I first when I first reopened, I was closed for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be lucky to get like 4 people a day.
Oh, I'm so sorry about
Yeah,
that.
and
Thanks.
so but I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not throwing the gauntlet down. I'm
Right.
hanging on. I'm screaming right up to the finish line. So yeah, and last week it really picked up. It really picked up. So
I think that's that part of people seeing the vaccines out
Yes,
there, and
yeah.
the weather's going to start
Exactly.
getting nice, and
Yeah.
just feel more like it's
There's a
okay.
sense of
yeah,
security that's
restrictions are
coming back.
lifting.
Yeah, like it's when we went last week and we
Yeah.
sat there, and my husband joined me for lunch,
Yeah.
and he just looked at me, and he's he's nervous about going into restaurants. I don't blame him. Everybody is, well, not everybody, but a lot of people. And he just looked at me and he goes, Michelle, I feel really comfortable right now.
Oh,
And that
good.
was really important,
Yeah.
I think, to just have that feeling of, I don't feel like I'm gonna get,
Yeah. Be
some-
exposed to
be
anything.
exposed to
or-
anything, and
Yeah.
it's just it's a great atmosphere, because I have to just talk about, because I think that's an entity of itself, is just your atmosphere in your restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Not only your food, which is fantastic, but it's the atmosphere in your restaurant is amazing.
I'm glad you feel that
Yeah,
way. Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of people say that they feel
Yeah.
very comfortable and welcomed. Yeah.
Talk about the locks on the poles.
Oh, that's so fun. So
Yeah.
they're there. That fencing went up on those poles because they were sandblasted before I looked at the space, and a lot of splinters in there. And I thought, you know what? If people bump into that, they're going to get a big old sliver in their arm. And so I'm like, oh, you know what? So I'll cover it. And when I got that fencing, I'm thinking to myself, hey, little French restaurant, Paris, France, love locks. And so that's how that all happened.
I love that.
Yeah.
And people bring their own, right?
They do.
Yeah.
They love
Yeah,
doing
I
that.
always say I'm going to bring one.
Yeah. I was
We
selling
have a few
locks
at the
there for a
senior
while.
center, so bring
Yeah,
bring some down,
I'm going
please.
to bring a pretty one, not a silver padlock.
There are some
I
of
know.
those on there. It's so funny.
But I want a pretty yellow one or something.
Yeah.
We'll
yeah.
paint one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's some really interesting locks on there. If you look at them, they're beautiful. There's actually, I did a wedding reception there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
neat.
and so the lock from the couple is up on there too.
So just tell a little bit of a story about what those love locks are, just like from France, like they just
well,
put
it's
them.
lovers put them
Yeah.
up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what they're
Neat.
doing there, and hopeful people of for a future with someone. So it's kind of nice. Families will put locks on there too. Like they'll put the mom and dad, and then they'll hook the kids onto that lock, and so yeah, it's really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I say, you got to give me the key because you're stuck together forever. I'm serious. There'll be no divorce, no running away. Behave yourself.
How many do you think you have up there?
Oh my gosh. There's got to be close to 200.
You're
Oh,
kidding?
really?
Yeah.
That many?
Yeah, so there's 3 poles.
Right, there's three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them are concentrated on the first pole, but there's quite a few on the others as well. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
It's awesome. And then you got the blackboard, so you got the wings up there. Do people
Yeah.
take all their pictures
They
in front
do.
of that?
They do. I just did a huge floor move in there, though. So those wings I'm obscuring them a little bit
Yeah.
because of the floor move. But tomorrow night, my oldest son is coming over. I have sketched out big wings on wood that we're going to cut out, and then I'm going to paint those like the
nice.
ones on the wall, but they'll be mobile. So wherever anybody wants their picture taken, the
love
wings can come up behind them. They'll be on wheels.
Oh,
so
neat.
yeah. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, I think it'll
That's
be
awesome.
fun. Yeah.
That's so awesome. How
So-
the stuff evolves too,
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
and you also have entertainment.
Yeah, when we're
Well,
allowed.
is it, are you doing it now or
No, no. We
Okay.
actually, this past Saturday, Dan Chauvin was supposed to be there,
Yeah.
the animal control officer, which a lot of people don't know. He is an extremely talented man.
We've had him at the senior center.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
And I love
he's
that
amazing.
guy. He's such a nice guy. So he was going to come in on Saturday. Last minute, we found out that we did not have permission to do that. That's still not allowed. You can only sing outside.
Oh,
It's a little
Sing-
chilly for that right
singing.
now.
Yeah, I know, I
right?
know.
Yeah.
but you have a little bit of an outdoor space, but not enough for a lot of tables, right? Yeah, yeah.
I wish I did have more
Yeah.
space outside.
Yeah.
So there will be live entertainment just as soon as it can happen. So that's always nice. We just do it on Saturdays from like 11 to 2. But yeah, it's a nice little touch.
And do you still do the BYOB?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you can bring
Beer
your
or
own,
wine.
You could bring your own beer or wine.
Yeah.
Go right
Get
next door.
it next door at
Yeah.
the liquor store and bring it
Yeah.
right in.
Right. Yes.
So-
Lots of people do it.
Yeah.
I've caught a couple of people with the little nips, you know.
You know.
It is so funny because one
Was it her?
I think I remember that face. No. There was this one guy, it was kind of comical, you know, it's like he pulls the nip out of his, like, you know, under his jacket.
Oh, wow.
And he pours it into his
Yeah.
his beverage.
Yeah.
And so we see him. And I can't, you're not supposed to do that there. So they're like, what are you going to do? I'm like, all right, you just treat the guy with respect and be
Right.
kind about it, right? So I walk up, he's at one of the high tables, so he's up pretty high. So I just go over and I lean right into him. I lean right on him, right? And I go, hey, I saw you. And it went well.
funny,
It just,
yeah.
he goes, yeah, you got me,
Yeah.
right? So I'm
Oh,
like, please
funny.
don't do that, because
Yeah.
then we won't be able to do this. And I
Right.
said, people appreciate being it, but there's always a way to handle those things gently, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, beer and wine, beer or wine. So, or if you want beer and wine, you may do that
Beer
too.
and wine, Kelly.
What?
So-
What?
Do beer and wine.
I might do that. I might just go down there some afternoon and do that.
I did
Place.
one because you had my son sing one time, so I went over and I got some wine and I
Nice.
sat there. It was nice. It was
Yeah.
really just a nice atmosphere. And so, tell us what other things are on your menu besides crepes, because there are. I noticed you've been putting different things on.
The French meat pie has done
Oh,
so
okay.
well. Yeah, it's crazy. I was going into Canada a lot with my new husband. He is he captains 2 boats, but they're owned by the same person.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so we would stop in Canada and we would go into these pastry shops and they would have meat pies there. And I'm like, you know what? Why am I not doing that?
So French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I started doing them. I can't keep up with those things.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we have that. We have
quiches.
quiches. Yeah. And I think I'm going to be bringing back the galettes, which is just a crust. It's more like a rustic pie. You put the filling on top of it and just don't close it completely. So yeah, just there's lots to choose from there actually.
Good.
Salads, soups. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you got the salads. That's a big
Yeah.
salad too.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So did you have any? Well, are you a part of the women's? What is it called?
Through the Chamber of
Through
Commerce.
the Chamber of Commerce.
I'm not a
Yeah.
member. It's because I love Jeannie and they're always after me. I'm like, oh, I'll get to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm not. So.
Yeah, because the women that we had here from the different shops were part of the women's.
Yes, and I'm
network
trying to
that they-
remember the name of it now.
We're horrible. We're horrible.
It's just, it will come to me as we talk, so
Okay.
I'll think of
You
it.
can shout it out.
I will, and then you'll say, what?
That moment when you're just talking, you're like, ah! Right.
Do you have plans to have a restaurant anywhere else, or is this it?
You know what I did when I opened? My goal was in 5 years to replicate myself, but I was at 5 years in November, last November. So
Oh, congratulations.
yeah, so I don't know if that's going to happen. I would still love it to happen, but things are really. Small businesses and especially restaurants are really struggling to stay on their feet. So it's not in immediate plans. It's still in my mind, though. I would love to. Yeah.
But I think I appreciate so much the fact that you brought something really unique to this area. And this is a heavily French Canadian population in Northridge. So, so you did the right thing, I think. So.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Yeah. You did the right thing, Donna.
Yeah.
We don't
For
have a lot
once.
of restaurants in our area,
No.
and or unique restaurants.
Right.
And so you give that added something to our area that is very welcomed. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. But you mentioned about doing private parties, so you will.
I do private parties.
Okay.
There's actually one booked for it this month.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only do them on Sundays. But
Okay.
yeah,
That's
I've
good
done
to know too.
well with that. And sometimes people will have me do the food, and sometimes they'll have a caterer, or they'll bring in their own food. And honestly, I prefer that they do their own food because
Right.
it's just another work day for me. But
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if that's what they really want, I do it.
Right.
But
How many people can you have in there?
the legal capacity is 60.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now, so they just said, that you could go back to normal capacity for restaurants, but this is really funny. I'm like, is anybody thinking about this when they say these things? You can go to full capacity, but you still have to be 6 feet apart, and
I
you can
saw
only
that.
have 6 people at the table. And
I
I'm
saw
like,
that. No,
yeah.
then that's not normal capacity.
No, it isn't. Yeah.
But what I like about your restaurant inside is that your tables are all different heights
Yeah.
and styles. So, we set up on that beautiful high top, the
Yeah.
long high top, and I just felt like I wasn't even around people.
Right.
It just was like we were in our own little area. But and did your sons make those tables?
Not that table, but
Oh, okay.
let's see, the rest of them, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The other really long one, that's
Yep.
it. Actually, that table, there's another table, and the big sliding door that I closed that side of the restaurant to the package store.
Oh, okay.
All of that wood is from trees that were in my oldest boy's backyard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my youngest boy cut the trees,
Uh-huh.
and then they sat in his yard, curing. And then when I was doing the build out, my oldest boy said, "Hey, why don't we use some of that wood and build furniture and stuff for
Nice.
maison?" And that big sliding door is all mortise and tenon. There are no screws or nails holding that door together.
Oh, wow.
He's very talented.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Well, I now I have to ask you, what was it like raising 6 boys?
I don't know.
I can't imagine you would know. Is it all a blur?
You just back into it. You're like, oh, look, now I gotta make dinner. Right?
Oh my gosh.
You know what? It's so funny because people talk about having a lot of kids like it's just crazy work, and it is. From the aspect of cleaning the house, feeding them, taking care of their laundry, making sure they're doing the homework and all that. It's a lot of work, but when there's that many kids, they take care of each other.
Oh my gosh, I was just gonna say that.
They really
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
They really do. When I see people with one child or 2 children and they're knocking themselves out, I'm like, maybe if you had a kid or had some kids come play.
God, she's my mother.
Yeah.
Or my mother, because my mother had 6 kids.
Yeah.
And she was a single mom with 6 kids raising us, and one was special needs. And when I had my 2, I remember calling her and saying, "Oh, this is so hard," and she said, "You just have to have more." I was, what kind of advice is that? Have more. But she said that. She's like, well, then they just take care of each other.
They do.
They just play
Awesome.
together.
They
And
do. They
your
do.
focus isn't on just 1
Yeah.
or 2. It's on,
Yeah.
you can't really focus on 6 that are crazy and running all over
Yeah,
the place.
it's true.
So,
Yeah, I'm not going to say it was easy because it wasn't, but it was good. I don't know if they'd have the same comment on it.
Oh, I bet they had a great childhood.
I just bought all of this. Maybe I shouldn't say this. I'm going to say it anyway because they left their butts off. So for Christmas, I got them T-shirts that says on it, "Wooden Spoon Survivor."
Oh, yeah.
We had the
that's
wooden
true.
spoon and the spatula. My mom had the spatula.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And when I gave it to the first boy
that's
that I
funny.
gave it to, I said, "You know what? I picture that shirt like." He goes, "What, Mom?" I go, "Nice pair of pants, suit jacket, that on, nice pair of shoes all dressed
I
up, and
love
you
it.
get the wooden spoon survivor shirt underneath.
I
Because I would do
love
it. I go
that.
take a picture.
I love it.
Yeah, right?
But for us, it was just knowing it was there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I never got it used on me, but I knew it was there.
No, I used it.
Oh, you? Oh, my mom. Oh, my mom used it on my brother. My brother Dale was the worst kid of
Yeah.
all growing up.
The
and
oldest
he
boy
got
said,
it.
"Didn't you
Yeah.
break a spoon off?" I'm like, "Yeah, they were cheap. They were from the fair."
That was back in the day. Yeah. Sorry, this is not politically correct right now, but that was back in the day. This is what they
When you
used to
could
do.
discipline your kids,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So now we just laugh about it.
Yeah.
There were moments where we didn't laugh. We didn't always have it easy, and
Mm-hmm.
I was alone with them, for quite a few years. But yeah, no, great guys.
Yeah.
They really are. They're not perfect,
Of course.
By far, they're not perfect, but they are
Yeah.
great guys. Yeah, I'm a proud mama.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're so lucky. What a beautiful
Yeah.
family. I saw pictures of you with the 6 of them. And,
Yeah.
oh, I love that.
Isn't that great?
Looks awesome.
That's when I
It's
turned
awesome.
60.
Yeah.
They surprised the daylights out of me.
So proud of them.
Yeah, I
you
am.
know? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
They're good men.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, when they have a good mom raising them.
Well, I don't know about that either. I'm like, I don't know, man. God's in the factor there. So, yeah.
Yeah. But
so-
but 6 is in today's standards, that's quite a bit.
Well,
Yeah.
even then, people would be like, "That's a lot of kids," and I'd be like, "What's that supposed to mean? Am I supposed to be insulted?"
Right. Yeah.
I'm not.
Stop having them.
It's like- and then I would babysit my sister's 2 boys, and I love little kids anyway. They're so funny. The things they say to you, you're like, write that down.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
We're
it's true.
finding that raising grandchildren
Yeah.
now, so it's really
Yeah.
neat. I love the things that they come out with.
Yeah,
It's
and they're
much
so
fun.
serious about stuff that's wild, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we watch. We have a 3-year-old granddaughter that we take care of on Fridays, and she just the things she says.
Yeah.
I'm just like, really, little 3-year-old. Where did that come
know,
from? She
right?
just
Amazing.
just,
They
yeah.
are fun.
Yeah.
So you must have some grandchildren.
I
then.
have 13 grandchildren.
Wonderful.
13 grandchildren.
Yeah.
Ah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, 10 girls and 3 boys now.
Wow.
so
what-
the tables kind of turned a
Yeah,
little bit.
and
Yeah.
it's so funny because, I raised boys, and I have a friend who says, no, you needed to have boys. You couldn't have raised girls. Right.
Oh, really?
And there's reasons why she says that, but we won't go into it. But like, I'll be around the girls and they'll start this, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
And even when they were little, I would just look at them and go,
Yeah.
you need to stop that.
Yeah.
And then they would cry
You didn't
even
like the
harder.
whiny-
I was
Yeah, you
like,
didn't like the whiny. No.
right.
No.
I was like, no, we wouldn't have made it. But
Yeah.
they're beautiful girls,
Oh.
though. They are
Did-
beautiful.
Does one or 2 of them work with
2
for
of
you?
my
2?
granddaughters.
They
Yeah.
work for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah,
That you just
and one of my
created
grandsons
such
works
a-
for me. Yeah.
Oh, it's just that you created such a great
Yeah,
thing.
I'm
that
I'm
everybody
hoping
can-
that when I can't do it anymore, maybe one of them will want the business.
Oh, that's nice.
Definitely.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And their dad's really good about teaching them, the principles of hard work. And if somebody works really hard to build something, don't walk away from it.
Right.
Kind of consider what's being offered to you, because we live in a culture where everything is, burn it down, and don't do
Throw
that,
it
right?
away.
Yeah.
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 It's true.
Well, hopefully it's going to be there for a long, long time
I
because
hope
I think
so.
it's such a great part of the community. And
Definitely.
like you said, there's really not a lot of restaurants to pick from in Northridge,
No.
and and it's a shame because it's a great community, and the restaurants we have I think are
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We do have a variety of a couple different things, but not enough.
Right, I agree.
Not enough.
And poor Jubes, right?
I know.
I
The whole COVID
know.
thing.
Right.
It took so many
Ugh.
people out.
Right.
I can't even imagine.
That was a place to go. Like
Right.
it was just a place. Let's go
Yeah.
grab quick bite to
Exactly.
eat,
Any
and we
time
go
of
over
day.
to Jubes, and
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna still find that. Do you think it's over the hump now with
You know,
restaurants?
It's
or do you
hard to
think it's-
say. I listen to NPR and hear some of the stories coming out of different areas, and some of them in Boston, and people just can't. The price that they would have to charge people to eat there, to pay their staff, is just not reasonable. So a lot of people are losing their footing. I think the grace in the moment is that there's no shame in that game. It's not you're failing because you didn't do a great
Right.
job.
Right.
You're failing because, number one, people are afraid to come to your business.
Right.
And number two, the prices of things have gone up because of just a lot of factors. So,
Right.
yeah. But I don't know. I hope that, what's left, what's standing right now remains. But there's no way of saying that it will.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the only way we will, and this is what we try to say every time we have a small business here, is go to your small business
Exactly,
in town.
support them.
Yeah.
Support.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
so needed because if you're gonna want all these amazing places in your town, you've got to support them. You've got to be there, or else you're gonna have some closed up shops. So support your
Yeah.
small businesses, and it's a great place to go. It's just a great
Yeah,
place.
and then
to
the
go.
beer company is down there.
Yes, the
right?
brewery is
I
right.
love those
right over
guys.
there.
Yeah.
Brewery
Yeah.
is right
Yeah, go
across
grab
the
a
way.
growler and come back up and see
Yeah.
me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
So,
Yeah.
so have they been open?
They have been. The restrictions on those guys with just, anyway, how you doing?
You can say guys in the show.
Oh, no, that's not what happened. Kelly's like, run!
I missed the show.
It's okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
tell me later.
Edit that, Aaron.
Yeah,
No, just kidding.
edit. So
They're still there, yeah.
they are still there. Okay.
They're doing a good job.
Yeah, because we actually had a birthday party there, a big party there,
Yeah.
for one of the family members. So it's a nice space.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Awesome, beautiful
It's
job they
pretty,
did in there.
it's pretty amazing to me that two guys, Kevin and Brian,
Kevin and Brian.
they did such a great job aesthetically in there. I love that space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it really is. It's again.
But
it's
it
a
kind
nice
of
place to-
complements yours.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
mean, it's just
it does.
It's got that
It's just-
wood
yeah, it's
feel
just
in
that
there, and
whole-
the bars.
just
I
that
love
whole
that bar.
mill area.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
it's
what everybody has done.
Yeah, it's a great feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been going into the mill to go to physical therapy, and
Oh, yeah.
I had never been in the mill. I had never been in there.
Oh, you hadn't?
No.
Isn't it great?
I'm like, wait a minute, people are walking through the halls. It's like this is like a little indoor plaza
Yeah.
or something,
Right.
and right here in Northridge, and it's beautiful.
It is.
What history in there too, and you can stop and you can read the little plaques
Yeah.
that that it was a.
Sure.
What was the building before that? I don't even know, but
It was a mill.
some kind of a
Yeah,
mill.
Well,
the
Donna would
Linwood
know. She's
textile.
lived here all her life.
Oh, sure. We're going to commercial now.
Did you work there when you were 6?
When I was 5, I brought my lunch. I learned to knit.
Child labor.
5 cents an hour.
But that whole so your restaurant, you can go through. Can you go through the mill from your restaurant?
No, just to the package store.
Just to the package
Yeah.
store. Okay, but then the other side, you can go, and I just
Yeah.
think it's awesome because Girls on the Run
And
is there.
Blackstone Valley Corridor is underneath you?
They're gone now. They left.
Oh, they did
Yeah,
leave.
yeah, which is too
Oh,
bad because
okay.
they're a COVID victim.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So did they just relocate or are they
You
just
know what?
not
I don't
staffing?
know
Oh,
because
that's
I know that
interesting.
that's run pretty much on volunteer and
Mhm.
contributions. So
Okay.
that stuff is
Oh,
really
interesting.
Mhm.
Okay.
dried up. So
Yeah.
And the same with the adult day health
yes,
too.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's closed.
Yeah.
Whether it's permanent, I'm not sure, but
right.
So the challenge, choose to challenge for this year.
yeah,
There's some empty spaces
Yeah.
available
Yeah.
for anybody that has a dream. You have a dream?
If you
There's
want to
empty
make crepes,
spaces.
don't come. No,
No, think of something
No,
else.
yeah, something
We've got
else.
the crepes covered.
I know. Well, there's a lot of Armenian population. Maybe somebody,
Yeah.
because that's some pretty awesome food. I know
yes,
that.
it is. I'm
yeah.
half Armenian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll put that challenge out there.
Yeah,
Get some more.
Levon and Jamie Durkos-Rofian. They make the best string cheese.
In town?
Yeah.
Do
Do you
they
know
s-
Levon? He's a
Did-
police
Yes.
officer.
Do
Yeah.
they? But do they?
Do they
Do
sell
they
it?
sell it or do they?
No,
use,
they don't sell it.
No.
But
They
how
just,
about at the church bazaar?
I don't
Will
know. I don't
Because
know.
I just received the spring. They're having a fundraiser in the spring with a
Oh, neat.
food
Mhm.
sale
Okay. At the church or
at the church.
Oh.
So I'm
There's-
wondering, and I need one of my Armenian friends to interpret for me, so I know what I'm going to be ordering.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if they take part in making.
I know that they
Things
do some
there.
baking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but their string cheese is ridiculous.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. They give it to me every now and again. I hope if they see this, they're reminded that they should do it again.
Bring
All
her
right,
some
bring-
string cheese.
Bring the cheese to Donna, please.
You could sell it at her.
Then you
at
can
her
come over
shop.
to 20 Highland Street, the senior center, and we'll try
I
it
know.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's awesome. So I just wanted to touch upon, as I said, you're a woman of many talents. You do some writing,
I do.
and are you a little bit of an artist,
A little bit, yeah.
or a lot of an artist?
I'll say a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
all right. So humble.
Well, if you saw my work, you might be saying, no, you're not even a little bit.
So talk. You actually, let's backtrack, because at the senior center we had a really awesome evening writing class that was going for a couple years, 3 years actually, and Donna was part of the writing group for a short period of time, and hopefully once we can get people back, we are going to be starting the writing group again, and that was open to anybody that wanted to
Right.
come.
It
That's a
wasn't
writer,
just-
and we've got some,
Yeah.
and we actually had one of our people publish a book out of a writing class, so it was kind of neat. So
Lori?
Lori did,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and so we're hoping to have her on the show as
Yeah,
well.
of course.
So, but you were doing some of this while we were in the writing class together, and so what tell us a little
Well,
bit
it's about giving language to love. And the basis of that is really that we have so many words to talk about negative occurrences and we have a lot of hate speech. But if you ask someone to say, describe love to me, really, the two of you right now, you're like, I don't know, don't ask me, we're on air. We don't have
that's true.
language to express how we feel deeply about each other, about our spouses, about our children, significant others. And so that's really the premise of the book. And really it's based in reaching back inside yourself and remembering a story or a time in your life where it was visceral, where you actually could physically feel such deep emotion for someone. And sometimes that's processed through grief. You gain the experience through grief. But remember when you first fell in love with Ken? Okay, right?
Yeah, great
Dang
feeling.
right, that
yeah.
is like the best. Like you're just like you could be like in your 50s and you're like, I think
Yeah.
I'm 17.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that kind of stuff and we avoid that, and I don't know why, because it's the better part of who we are, and it's the most beautiful part of who we are, and so that's what the book will be about. The storylines are done. I just need to do photographs now to get the book to print. So and I also I'll save that. It will be a surprise when
Okay.
people see the book what it will be like.
Are there stories in it, or is
There
it
are
more of your?
there are stories, but some of it is my insight into how people respond to situations, and we'll talk about that. Like one of the stories in there, for lack of a better word, is I have a dining room table that is really large, and my oldest boy built it. He's a carpenter by trade, but he works in the pharmaceutical world. But so I talk about the table, how when he brought it home from Valley Tech, he was in the 9th grade, and I'm like, when I saw the table, I couldn't even believe that he made it. Now I'm like, wait a minute, this is my kid. How did this happen? And it's really beautiful. And when we first got it, I was afraid of it getting nicked, and all that stuff. And there's 8 of us at the table. It's going to get nicked. But here we are, 30 years later, maybe almost 35, 40 years later, and there's nicks and gouges. But I tell the story about how we sat there with each other. I mean, I might get a little emotional just telling you this, but how, we've celebrated life there. We've celebrated death there. We've told stories that were great. We told stories that were so painful that our heads were down on the table. But the table, so those kind of things, to be aware of, what's happening in your life regarding love. Because all that emotion, that pain, the joy is born out of loving somebody. So that's the language that I'm after, so that people will begin to have those conversations and not be embarrassed about it or feel like, that's private. And of course, some things are private, but
Right.
just let's get some good language out there and some good stories. And
I love that because there's so much right now, especially, well, in the past, few year actually, that's just been negative, negative.
Yeah.
Anything you do lately, it just seems like there's so much negativity, and
Right.
something like that just really just makes you really want to appreciate things
Yeah,
more.
and
you
look
know,
at
and
things a
look
little
at things
differently.
differently, right, exactly.
So there's some
Exactly.
women that come to Maison. I haven't seen them since the COVID shut down, but they're widows, great ladies, and so they talk to me all the time. And so one day I asked them about their widowhood, and I said, would you be willing to write your love stories out for me so that I could include it in the book? And they did.
Oh,
So
isn't
those
that
will be in
nice?
there too.
Oh, wow.
How
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
How
so.
nice.
But I
Yeah.
think within your own life too. I mean, you've
Yeah.
had some pretty amazing things happen to you personally that I'm sure when you started writing the book, and then as your life progressed,
Yeah.
and I'm sure what has happened I don't know how long you've been remarried, but I'm sure that had a big part of
Oh my gosh,
your
yeah.
book.
Yeah, of course it did. It was
Yeah.
like, boom, who am I, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
No, and that whole visceral feeling, right? That physical expression of emotion in our bodies that sometimes we deny. But it's like the greatest feeling on the planet, right?
Yeah,
If we're
exactly.
honest.
Right.
It is the truth.
Yeah.
It is the truth.
And how wonderful for you
Exactly.
that happened.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at her smiling.
I
She's
know,
got that
exactly.
glow.
She's like
got that
you.
glow.
She's like you, Michelle.
Well, there is something to be said for, and I'm not saying, that everybody should do this, but, a second marriage, it's different than a first, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. And,
You're in a different
you're in a
point in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not in the daily process of raising children, and
Yeah.
it's a different stage in your life. So that second time, it's a different focus,
Yeah.
and a different kind of love, I think, too. So.
And I think it's
that's
important, the position that we are in, that there's, younger women than me at Maison that are married, and I just, they'll say things about their marriage, and I'll, be like, all right, let's stop what we're doing right here. Make a date with your husband.
Yeah.
You know what, don't, because you can get in that mundane rut and just stay there without being aware, and it's like, remember who you fell in love with, and, try to rekindle that, and
Love
be
it.
playful, and be funny, and,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm gonna check to see see if you had a date.
I'm checking in.
Tell me. You don't tell me the details. Just tell me. Yeah.
Well, Ken will probably not be happy with me saying this, but sometimes I'll just go right up to him and I'll grab him and we'll start dancing in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, you have
And I
to.
just love doing that. I think that's just a really,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful thing.
It is.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
You have to live there.
All the warm fuzzies,
Yeah. 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 It's not. Life is not always like that, but you have to seize the moment, and there are serious moments too. But I think we need to. The book is about shift your focus. Just remember what is good and lovely, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think too, and when we had Marsha on, she talks a lot about this, about thinking about when you were a little kid.
Yeah.
And that's that pure love when you're a little kid. And, my son, I remember he was maybe 4 years old, and we were swinging on swings, and he just looked at me, and I could just tell he was so full of love at that moment. And he said, Mommy, I love you so much, I'm going to marry you someday. And it was just, you could just feel that he just
Yeah.
had that just
Yeah.
pure innocent
Yeah,
love. And that is
exactly.
just something that we forget.
Yeah.
We just forget
He was
that.
captured by it. Yeah.
It really was, and
Yeah.
what a beautiful thing that I'll always remember.
Yeah.
That one pure moment. So
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's good to remember. I love watercolors. I'm not a watercolor artist, and I like to sketch a little, and I'm not an artist at all. And I was just reminiscing about how I was actually working out. And so I started thinking about when I was a kid, there was this place that I would go to, and I would get in this really tall grass, and I would catch grasshoppers. And I remember some of them would be like long and skinny, and some of them would be chubby, and they looked like they had armor on or something. But I remember the wonder of them, and I would hold them in my hand, and I would be peeking, and sometimes they would jump out and scare me half to death. But
right.
But I thought, you know what? Though that moment in my life, when I look back, was so wonderful and so full of wonder that I went, after I was done exercising, I went and sketched a grasshopper.
Oh,
And I'm getting ready to watercolor paint it, but it's like,
nice.
those are the things that I like to stay in touch with, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when will you have it? When will you have it published?
I don't know. It'll be a self-published work, so we'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
How
big
exciting.
undertaking, but
It is.
it's
I
fun.
can't wait,
It's
though.
fun.
I can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom self-published all of her books.
Yeah.
So maybe she could give you some pointers.
Yeah, I did a book in 2010. I published a book.
Oh, you did.
Self-published.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So you're
Yeah,
pro.
but this
Okay.
the whole format of this is very different from what I did before. So
With the pictures, that might be different.
yeah, right. That's my challenge.
Right.
That's my challenge for
Well,
this year.
this is your year to
There you
yes,
go.
to write your story.
You're on
down.
your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we. I think everybody has a story. Everybody has one in
Absolutely.
them. I always feel that way, and
Absolutely.
it's just a matter if you choose to write it down,
Yeah.
share it with the world,
Right.
be vulnerable. You know.
Good word right there. Be
Yeah.
vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah, and just mine's up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kelly, what about you?
What about me?
Well, do you like to write? I don't know that about you.
Well, I'm at a different point in my life right now, Michelle, that I think.
Tell us, Kelly.
Yes, I think that I'm not quite there, but maybe someday that might be something. But the role that I have with my work and raising teenage boys,
Yeah.
right?
Food.
Right? It's
Right,
just
yeah.
we
How many of them?
Two,
Two.
and their father. So does that count as
Just three.
Yeah, thank you. So, it's just, I think, they're the focus. My work is the focus. I mean, we
Yeah.
know that it's been a crazy year for us as well. And, so I think that someday I might just sit down and you never know what might come out of the pen.
Join our writing class, Kelly.
Maybe I
It'd be
should.
fun.
Maybe I should.
That would be a fun time.
Yeah.
Well, Donna, we just so loved having you on our show
Yeah, this
today.
has been great. Thanks
Hasn't
for
it been fun?
Yeah, thanks for
I think
having
this
me.
is the most we've laughed, Kelly, on our show. So, Donna, thank you.
This is a good start.
That's why
for
my
us.
kids are like, just
Yeah.
let her go.
Yeah, but it's just,
Yeah.
this is the start of, the start of our next season in the show.
Kicking us off.
Yeah.
Donna. Thank you.
Thank
Yay.
you so
Thank you for
much.
having me.
Yes,
I
and
appreciate it.
continued success with Maison because
you.
please support your small businesses in town because this is a gem. If you have not visited, it's amazing. I just
Thank
love it so
you.
much. So thanks so much for being here today.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Yeah, all right.
It's been fun.
All right. So join us next time when we don't even know who we're going to have on next time. We're flying by the seat of our pants, aren't we?
Well, I thought we might have an idea, and maybe she's related to you, so.
Maybe. We might have
Yeah.
an author, a self-published author on the next
Maybe.
show, which happens to be my mother. But thank you all so much for joining us. And
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. And always remember, you're a woman of worth. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
I really wanna show you.